Hey guys, King of Charms here to be your judge, your jury, and your analyst. Today I bring to you my top 5 well, no, that's not my top 5 teams. My top ABB team for the Willpower Cup. So this is Medicham XL lead, and then this is going to be Drapion as your save switch and Mandibuzz to close out. Mandibuzz is the strongest closer, Drapion will be your save switch, and again, Medicham's your lead. Medicham has Dynamic Punch and Ice Punch. And the reason why you want Dynamic Punch is because Dynamic Punch actually hits for a decent amount of damage, and Ice Punch gives you super effective damage against Mandibuzz, and it's your lowest energy cost. It's not really worth pulling Power Up Punch for this meta, or using Psychic because you don't want to use Psychic against Dark types anyways. So that's why Psychic Medicham is kind of taken out for this meta, and you don't really need it for Toxicroak, and you're going to see an example in this shoutcast. But before we get started, it's going to be my therapist mental health tip of the day. As usual, you can skip this by just going into the chapters and skipping straight ahead. It's that easy. But this is going to be about, since we're talking about Willpower Cup, I'm going to do a lot about your willpower and just like things that trying to kill your willpower. And this one's about social media. So social media is linked to social anxiety symptoms? It can be. So feeling anxious when scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, maybe social media is fueling your social anxiety symptoms. Social media has a lot of things where people just post the best version of themselves and never about the worst versions. Typically, when you try to challenge someone or challenge their positivity, guess what? You're met with just pure emotional backlash because they can't look at themselves and be like, hey, that's not bad. Hey, maybe they're right, or no. But for this one, again, all resources from Psych Central are reviewed by medical professionals. So this one's reviewed by an LCSW, a licensed social worker. And how you react to social media depends on many factors. If you live with a mental health condition such as anxiety, social media use may have a particular effect on your symptoms. And it's generally bad to kind of like spend a lot of time on social media anyways. If you spend a lot of time on there and you have social anxiety, guess what? You have fear, anxiety, being judged, social situations, and exposure to other situations like that. So what's the link between this? Well, the link is like new followers, feeling rewarded, dopamine effect, you know what I mean? And if you're anxious about being around others and being judged by others, guess what? Social media is a giant smorgasbord of people judging you that you may not even know are people that don't know you personally. So stay out of social media as much as humanly possible, or if you're really good about it, unless you're really good about it. Me, I use Twitter to mostly like interact with people that I know, or I use it to like get information, like from the UFC. But yes, definitely take a look at this article, and it's my top ABB team for the Willpower Cup. And without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here are the battles. We have Medicham on a Pawniard. This is already a great lead for us. Remember, I was complaining about XL Pawniards, and I'm like, really, bro? So I switched, but like that's why I like Medicham or just any fighter gets a Pawniard, because all of y'all are literally spent an arm and leg and walked a bazillion miles just to get your XL freaking Pawniard. Guess what? It gets punched to death by things like Medicham. They switch into Rapidash, Galarian Rapidash, and I'm gonna switch into Drapion. Drapion has Aqua Tail. I'm not gonna lie, I kinda like Sludge Bomb instead of Crunch, because Crunch doesn't actually have a lot of targets, to be honest with you. Crunch gets blocked by pretty much every dark type here. As you see, I even need a Mega Horn, and I'm gonna double Aqua Tail. My hope is that I break both shields here. So I'm just going straight Aqua Tail here. Obviously Crunch is resisted, so there's no point in using it. I try to fake that I have Sludge Bomb, and then I'm just gonna go double Aqua Tail here. If I don't end up winning switch, then what I can do is I can punch down this thing, and then I could just shield here, and I can just farm it down. So that points down I should be able to win back switch in this scenario. You want to keep alignment against Pawniards as much as possible, or if you have something like a Toxicroak, just so that you can punch it down in line with Medicham. And as you see, we got Mandibuzz on Mandibuzz action. So this is literally game over. All I have to do, if they decide to stay in here, all that's going to happen is that Medicham can punch down this Mandibuzz even if I lose because I lost a turn, or they can top left and save us a lot of time. And as you see, they top left and save us a lot of time. Thank you, God. Because the Mandibuzz, God, the Mandy and Mandy mirror, it's not as worse as the Wobbuffet mirror, but it's still pretty dang bad. Next, we got Pawniard again, and then we get a Mandibuzz switched into us. I go for the Dynamic Punch here. You should go for the bait. I've learned that every Mandibuzz will always shield the Dynamic Punch for some odd reason, except for this one. So this is why, like, straight Ice Punch, like, yeah, Dynamic Punch, if it goes through, it's great, but then, like, Ice Punch is super effective and costs less energy. Now they have chip damage on their Mandibuzz, I'm going to go ahead and switch out. And then now, whoever's Mandibuzz has chip damage on it is going to lose, because Aerial Ace is such a terrible move that's all that it doesn't do a lot at all. And if you have a good IV Mandy, it's pretty. As you see, Aerial Ace still does garbage damage, so it really doesn't matter. It's like what's a really bad mod in the beginning of the I don't know. I really don't know. Anyways, all we're gonna do is we're going to farm out this thing, and my Flintstone Burb is going to beat your Flintstone Burb, just because it kind of looks like a Flintstone, you know what I mean? It has a bone, and it's like in between, it's like hair right here, and it's just like, I like its design. Mandibuzz, even though it's like not really, it's like really thick, and its design is hilarious, but they're gonna blow their energy here. In my opinion, they should have just farmed me down, or tried to, because in the end, they're just gonna line up against Medicham anyways. And then we get a Sableye. As you see, I switch incredibly fast into Drapion, and this is game over. All I have to do is I just have to break both of their shields, do enough chip damage, pray I get the defense debuff, and I don't get the defense debuff. I'm not going to lie. In the past 2 days, I've used Crunch. I have not gotten the debuff. Literally. It's freaking nuts. And then it's so really annoying, because when you try to get the debuff, you don't. But when they try to get the debuff on you, it works a lot. I got debuffed 3 straight times yesterday, and my brain was like, are you serious, dude? Why can't I get the debuff? We're just going to straight Aqua Tail here, but all honesty, I'm not even going to shield anything. I'm going to have my opponent die with 2 shields. You're going to take your shields off to the next battle. Because if I fire a charge move, it's going to take longer. So all I have to do is send in Medicham, and Medicham can punch down this Sableye and beat the unholy crap out of that poor Pawniard in the back. Because Pawniard doesn't get the same type attack bonus or stab with Fury Cutter. And that's GG's. And yeah, it was, I don't know why opponent didn't shield anything. That's funny, because yeah, I'm all for it though. Take your shields to the next dimension. We got Medicham on a Skuntank. This is kind of new, not actually neutral to be honest with you, just because of the fact that this thing has access to Crunch, and if they debuff you, it sucks. And for some odd reason, they didn't debuff me this time around. They were like one of the only times. I'm going to go straight Dynamic Punch, and they're going to shield this, which just sucks really bad. So, you want to... this is why going for Dynamic Punch is kind of risky. I try to catch the Crunch onto my Drapion, but this is okay, and they swap their own Medicham XL onto me, which is alright. Because Crunch goes through, hopefully we get the debuff, and like I said, I don't really get debuffs right now. So, we're going to let this through. I'm going to shield this. I'm thinking this is going to be a Dynamic Punch. Remember how they shielded mine? Well, I'm guessing you have one too. So, I'm going to fire this Crunch, and I'm going to pray I get the debuff. So, please, give me the debuff. And sure enough, I do not get the debuff. Aqua Tail should be in KO range though, and I win CMP in this instance. So, by Andabush, I mean, if they don't shield this should take them out. And then Drapion wins switch for us. Well, we still have enough to go plenty around, and we're just going to fire Aqua Tail. This is why you want Mandibuzz is the most powerful closer, just because it's so bulky and tanky, and there's not a lot of things in this meta that actually I don't think there's anything in this meta that outright resist. No, that's not true. Except for Pawniard. So Pawniard resists Air Slash, but outside of that, there's not a lot of things that actually resist it. You're going to see me combo in here with Medicham to force this Slash Shield, because it doesn't really, like... I still have a shield, and that Skuntank is so hurt that my Mandibuzz is literally just going to run you over. And even better, I'm able to get to a second freaking Ice Punch. They try to farm me down. Medicham XL being a rank 2 actually paid off in this instance, and then Toxicroak is screwed. I don't know why they're still staying in here, because I'm just not even going to shield the Sludge Bomb and hope they top left to save us some time. Because Go Battle League is a waste of time, and there's no reason to stay when you're literally going to die. I could take 2 Sludge Bombs if I wanted to and still live. But I'm just going to use my shield anyways. Just by some chance, I do lag. And all I'm going to do is farm down here. And that's GG's. Seriously, though. Like, freaking... it's like... It's so irritating. Here's Toxicroak versus Medicham. It's like, what you would call it? It's like Zenitsu from Demon Slayer. Except I don't find Zenitsu annoying. I find Zenitsu incredibly hilarious. The fact that he goes after Nezuko, or like... If you watch the movie, for those of you anime nerds, if you watch the Mugen Train movie, and he's like chasing after Nezuko in his dreams, it's freaking hilarious, and I love it so much. But other than that, that's exactly what the Mandibuzz, like, that's exactly what this cup is. It's just full of, like, nonsense. It's really nuts. My opponent catches an Ice Punch. As you see, it's Toxic versus Medicham. I try to pretend I have Psychic, and they catch it the Ice Punch onto Rapidash. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to fire straight Aqua Tail. This is fine because we have chip damage, so we're just going to straight Aqua Tail here. Just Aqua Tail to oblivion. Willpower Cup is very weird. It can feel very rock, paper, scissors, or just because there's Victinis, there's Gothiles, there's Charmers, all this random madness that's running around, and like just the dark poison types. It is really no balance when it comes to like what the meta is. So that's exactly how annoying this. Yeah, it's actually like really, really annoying. So what we're gonna do here is we're just going to straight Aqua Tail down. Aqua Tail goes off, and then this should go ahead and we should just do enough chip damage just so that we could set it up versus Medicham. So Medicham is going to be able to beat down this poor Obstagoon. As you see, Cross Chop goes off, and then what we're going to do here is we're going to fire Aqua Tail. We're literally just Aqua Tailing into oblivion. And then Medicham and Mandibuzz are going to take on the back row without a shield, which is fine. As you see here, I'm going to try to snipe it down, but I fail epically, and I'm like, wow, I botched that super hard, man. Woo, that sucked. I had to do a little more chip damage, and I had to send a Medicham, but you know, it's okay. Because it's literally game over. It's Toxicroak and Obstagoon versus a fully healthy Mandy, and there's no reason for you to stand, bro. You're like dead. They don't know my back row, but 9 times out of 10, there's not going to be a Pawniard in my back row. Double counter is a great idea. However, with all the Charmers running around here, not really. And as you see, my opponent just top slash because they already know it's game over. Now for the final battle, you know, the final boss, you have Rapidash on a Medicham. You lose this lead super hard. You lose the lead, you C-switch into Drapion. If it's a Victini, Drapion can go and Aqua Tail it to death. If it's a Rapidash, guess what? You're going to Aqua Tail it to death. You're going to shake that tail feather. Or in this case, the Aqua Tail feather. You're going to shake it, and shake it like there's no tomorrow. Because that's why Aqua Tail is so freaking OP, because Poison Sting gives you 9 energy per shot because it was buffed. And then it could just get Aqua Tail. You're just Aqua Tailing to oblivion. Shadow Drapion kind of works. In my opinion, Shadow Drapion feels a little better than this one. However, Drapion, I have a high rank Drapion, so I'm just using the regular one anyways. Shadow works. It's just really up to you. It gives you I would say it gives you a better match against safe switches. But the extra bulk that Drapion has can possibly get you some win conditions too. So either one works out. It's just really what you're willing to use. Because Shadow Drapion, like I mentioned, does a little more damage with Aqua Tail, but you still don't get that same type attack bonus as in Stab. I'm going to swap out here. As you see, they swap into Umbreon. I'm going to swap into Medicham, and I'm not going to shield anything. I'm just going to straightly beat the unholy crap out of this poor Umbra. And this is a Psychic Last Resort Umbreon. Why would you not, okay, so I get having Psychic for Toxicroak. However, Last Resort does enough, to be honest. There's not a lot of scenarios where Last Resort and Psychic are going to matter too much. And as you see here, they're going to combo into Rapidash, and this is definitely a body slam. After this, I'm going to straight Ice Punch, and then both Ice Punch, if they eat one of them, that should go through and do some chip damage at least. And I'm hoping this should KO on the second one, or they're going to shield it. I'm hoping they shield it. Because I want them to shield this just for extra energy, and they actually don't. Because I was like, what? Why wouldn't you shield, dude? And now their closer is a Mandibuzz. Here's the Mandibuzz matchup and where you make a big mistake. If your Mandibuzz, your Mandibuzz has chip damage, and they send in their Mandibuzz, guess what? You lose. Because Aqua Tails actually start adding up here. My opponent's going to try to farm me down, but they have no idea what my back row is. So this is why you want to leave Mandibuzz in the closer as much as possible. It can still win matches down shield. As you see here, even though I'm in even shield against this Mandibuzz in the closer just takes the cake for us because of the fact that they're so hurt. This is why there's justification for Aqua Tail though, because Aqua Tail is able to chip away at your opponent's HP. And there's 9 Poison Stings for 1 Aqua Tail is a great deal. Now you have the most boring mirror match of all freaking time. Well, unless it's Wobbuffet, like I told you, you know what I mean? It's like it's mind-numbing. This match will go down to the time limit. I'm just putting that out there. And also I'm going to flex on them super hard. 1, 2, bang, baby. I sack on my opponent even though I didn't need to. This was just extra flex. Because this was just flexing. As you see, I don't count when I sack just because I have such good intuition, or I play the game so much. I'm like, my timing is really good. Now, they sack on me like it's impressive, but bro, your Umbreon isn't dead yet. And you're literally, yeah, like, there's no way for you to win. They should have just top lefted, because as soon as, if I saw all that chip damage on my Mandy, I would have quit, because there's no way I could win. Air Release goes off. This is game over. I hope y'all enjoyed the battles. I'm sorry I had to suffocate through this long and drawn out battle. Like, you know that episode of SpongeBob where it's like 5 years later? This is like 5 minutes later, but yeah, you know what? I'm still, it's like, why would you stay in? That's GG's. I hope y'all enjoyed the battles. I hope y'all are having fun at Willpower Cup, because you're going to have 100 battles of this for Go Battle Day. And I hope y'all are enjoying your battle. And that's game. I hope y'all enjoyed the battles. This team's pretty simple to operate. And Medicham with Dynamic Cup and Ice Punch. Despite the fact that you lose the lead, it can do very well in this cup. Except it's Victinis and other things are like super annoying in this cup. This cup is really nuts, to be honest with you. There's things like Gothile. Well, Gothile Charm is running around. Charmers are still running around. Charm needs to get nerfed. The fact that Worlds was won by a Charm user, it's the pure definition tap, and it's stupid. How come in the 4 years PvPs and out, Charm has not been nerfed? Charm, Smackdown, tap should not be a thing in Pokemon Go PvP. It really shouldn't. And unfortunately, here we are, where Charm still dominates. If Shadow Guard was on, it would have been a lot worse, but even, not even Shadow Guard's the one that's annoying here. The one that's annoying here is Gothile and even Gallade, which is just, it's so dumb. Like, Charm-free cups are always the best, and unfortunately, Charm is still really good in this cup. So, yeah, it's annoying. But, you can still beat Fairy users, etc. with this team. I just see you beat Galarian Rapidash, and you kind of just have to beat the unholy crap out of the poor Charmer by either Ice Punching it to death, or you could Air Release it to death, either one. Just because a lot of Charm users here, they don't get stabbed. So even though they do beat you, it's going to take a while before they try to beat you, because it's not going to melt you as much as a Shadow Guard would if it were allowed in this cup. Still, this cup is boring. It's dumb. This cup is stupid. This cup is very poorly thought out, and it really doesn't do anything. Tanks like Cresselia and Mandibuzz run around the meta, and it's just it's like basically open Great League, where 20 things can be meta, and Charm is allowed. At least Baffi isn't allowed, right? Well, I hope you guys are enjoying it, because this is going to be the cup that's going to be available for the Go Battle Day that's upcoming. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoy it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the battles. Do me a huge favor, please like and subscribe for YouTube content, for the YouTube algorithm. Good luck on your Go Valley sets, and I will see y'all on the next video.
That